Welcome everyone to a new episode of In the House with You Know Who, your boy Richard Peace, aka Ricky G. And today I bring you a man that's been changing Hialeah, the city that I grew up in, the city of progress, Mr. Marc Anthony Salvat, a proud Hialeah native businessman and now candidate for mayor of the city of progress. Marc grew up right here in Hialeah, built a career in real estate, and is stepping into politics with a vision to make the difference in the community he calls home. Welcome back.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. That was a great introduction, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure and honor. I've been following you for a long time now, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff that you've been doing around the city, stuff that people don't even see, just things that I hear from native Hialeans that are always in the street talking and stuff, and you got a big buzz and you got people shaking in their boots over there in City Hall. But overall, you're doing a great work for the Lord, man, and I really appreciate what you're doing in the city that I grew up in, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I always say that the city of Hialeah is the greatest city in the world, and a city that has offered endless opportunity to Cuban immigrants to be able to make something out of themselves. And that's really the reason why I'm taking the decision to run for mayor of the city of Hialeah now.
Oh, I think it's a great idea, man. And what I've learned about you is that you were born and raised in Hialeah. Being that you were, what specific experience shaped your vision for the city?
So I would say I was raised in the city of Hialeah, and it's interesting because we're going to make history when I become mayor, because we're going to be the first mayor of the city of Hialeah born and raised in the city of Hialeah. I was raised by my grandparents from when I was 3 months old till I was 8. They instilled things in me that we don't see in today's society anymore. Integrity, morals, respect, honesty, but above all, love. The main reason why I'm running, Ricky, is very simple. The reason why someone should make that decision to run is because they look at their surroundings, for me specifically in the city of Hialeah, and I humbly feel that I have the necessary skills, traits, and abilities to solve the critical issues that the city is faced with right now. There's many situations and many experiences that have shaped me to become the very man that I am today. One of which is being born and raised in the city of Hialeah. You know that we are very proud to be born and raised in the city of Hialeah. And being born and raised in the city of Hialeah, you get like that kind of like that grit, right? Like that chip on your shoulder of wanting to have to go out into the world and prove to the world that the place that you were born and raised in truly is a very special and magnificent place. Right. So for me, it's being raised in the city, the atmosphere, the culture, the genuineness of people. I think all of those things, alongside life experiences, helped shape and mold me into the man that I am today.
We were talking earlier, and I was telling you that I took a little break from Hialeah and I moved up north to a small town. And if it wasn't for the values and the stuff that I learned in Hialeah, my experiences, I wouldn't have been able to survive in that little town, because here I am opening up a tattoo shop in the middle of nowhere, 5,400 people in your whole town,
Wow.
One traffic light, and still I was able to take care of myself, take care of my parents, take care of my wife's parents, and raise my kids, and that was all because of what I learned in Hialeah, and the hustle and the grit, like you said, and, knowing that you came from nothing, but you can always build. There's nothing that can make you go back to where you once were. You could only go up from there.
Absolutely. Listen, I always say, like we were talking, you can take the man out of Hialeah, but you can never take Hialeah out of the man. That blood that runs through you, okay? No te la quita nadie. Esa sangre no te la quita nadie.
No, es verdad. Eso sí es verdad. And my question, I saw something in the news the other day, and I was like, well, he put traction to this problem. There was a problem in Hialeah, and it was with the water. And nobody even heard of the problem before you started going on social media and talking about it. And now these other people, I'm not going to say, but they're running on that they're changing the way that works and this and that, and they weren't doing nothing. They had all this time to help the citizens of Hialeah that were complaining, but they were being ignored. And yet you come on social media, you start talking about it, the people start getting behind you, and now they want to take credit for them trying to change the way. Explain to me what was going on there.
First and foremost, I'd like the individuals that are going to listen to this and watch this to know that I'm not a politician. I'm a business owner. And as a business owner, I recognize the difficulties that the city of Hialeah is faced with. One of which happens to be a very dire situation, which is the problem with the water. So a lot of people don't know this, but the situation with the water is as follows. The city buys the water from the county and then sells that same water to the residents of the city of Hialeah. And as a business owner, I understand that government is not supposed to profit off of its people. It's supposed to essentially create a higher quality of life and a society that's worth living in, right?
Absolutely.
So when I see that, that's the first major red flag, right? The fact that you have a city buying the water from the county and then selling that same exact water to the residents of the city of Hialeah and making a profit, that is a major, major red flag.
Yeah, that's a racket.
That 100%. And the truth is that I have the courage enough to bring it out and speak about it, because I'm not a career politician, because I'm not interested in the next election. I'm not interested in the next election. I'm interested in the next generation, which is a very, very big difference. Now, apart from that, we'll take it a step further. You know, we recently saw in the news that Miami-Dade County is suing the city of Hialeah for close to $18 million. And most people don't understand where that debt stems from. And the reason why people don't know is because they kind of put that to the side and they brushed it under the rug. Because I am an entrepreneur and not a politician, I'm willing to speak the truth. And the truth is the following. Many administrations ago, the county gave a grant to the city of Hialeah to create a second water plant. That second water plant was supposed to be very close to I-75, which was supposed to be the supplemental aspect of the annex, right? It was going to be the supplemental water source for the annex Sector 6 of the city of Hialeah. What ends up happening, Ricky, is that that second water plant was never built.
Well,
And the $40+ million disappeared. So when the city of Hialeah is telling the residents that they are in debt to the county, we need to understand as residents where that debt stems from. Because at the end of the day, if you're a resident in the city of Hialeah, that comes out of your pocket. It comes out of my pocket. It comes out of all of the pockets of the residents of the city of Hialeah. And the truth is that that is not correct. Because $44 million is not a small amount. That's a very big amount. And under my leadership, the most important thing that I am proposing is leadership through accountability. It's not empty promises that go unanswered. It's real tangible results and an agenda that we are going to ensure that we bring forth and manifest so that the residents of the city of Hialeah can have a future in the city of Hialeah.
they come on and they run on that they're going to help this and they're going to do that and they're going to change all this stuff. And then it all goes away, with time. You're really being transparent on the thing. And a lot of people don't know where all this money has been going, and all they see is their taxes, their home taxes are getting expensive, their gas bill is getting expensive, their light bill, their water bill, and you're getting down to the source, like really getting to the community itself, and that's what a city needs.
100%.
It doesn't. You have the president to run the country. You just need to be able to run the city. I think it's been like a mafia basically for years. And I know a lot of them, their sons grew up in my tattoo shop back in the day in Hialeah and stuff like that. But I know that with the money that Hialeah was getting, they weren't doing enough for the city. That city should be way bigger and way better than what it is. And people don't understand, Hialeah is the heartbeat of Miami. The money, the factories. When my parents first migrated here in the late 60s, on the freedom flights, They went to Chicago. From there, they came to Miami. And when they came to Hialeah, they didn't come to Miami. They came to Hialeah. Let me correct myself. When they came to Hialeah, they were busting their tails, working day and night in those factories and stuff, because we were the money makers. We had clothing factories. We had furniture factories. You name it, we created. We were the China
exactly
back then.
Correct. And to your point, right? I think you mentioned a very, very powerful point regarding other politicians. One thing about me, Ricky, is that I'm a gentleman. You'll never hear me say someone's name. Okay?
Yeah.
I will never speak ill on anyone. But to me, it's interesting that out of the 4 people running, 3 were already involved in local politics. So to me, humbly, I recognize that if they genuinely wanted change, they would have done it already.
Absolutely.
But on the contrary, now you have individuals that are in power currently promising things that they're going to do into the future. Why don't you just do them now? Why do you need to wait to win an election, right? And that's the proof. That's the proof that the residents need to understand that they don't have an intention of changing, that they don't want to really benefit the residents of the city of Hialeah. Because let's be very clear, government doesn't produce anything, okay?
Nope.
Government extracts capital, okay, and then creates a society. Como dice Bukele, like the president of El Salvador says, when no one steals, the money is enough.
Yeah.
Cuando no se roba, el dinero es
El dinero está
suficiente.
ahí, sí.
Okay. Now, when you have the second largest economy in Miami-Dade County, okay, larger than a lot of other major cities, you have to stop and think to yourself, okay, how are we the second largest economy in Miami-Dade County, but when you drive the streets, it doesn't look that way.
Right.
When you are going out somewhere in the city of Hialeah, it's not perceived that way. This concurrent year, the city of Hialeah had a budget of $575 million, more than $500 million. To the penny it was spent, Ricky. To the penny. And that is something that honestly, it hurts my heart, because the corruption and the mismanagement of funds is running rampant.
Yep.
So as a Hialeah native, I'm taking the initiative, right, to run for the people, by the people. Because what we need to do is, and I've been very clear about my messaging regarding this, on the first day, the first thing that we are going to be doing is reaching out to the State Department, the DOJ Department, to have DOJ complete a full audit of how every single penny has been spent in the city of Hialeah, and holding people accountable, because that's money that belongs to the people. That's not money that belongs to the government. And what ends up happening is, and most people don't have the courage to say this, but I'm willing to say this because I care about my city. The city of Hialeah needs a job done, right? And they receive a proposal, right? First proposal comes in for $1.5 million. The second proposal comes in for $2 million. The third proposal for the same exact job comes in for $6 million. But because that third proposal, the owner of the company is the brother, sister's, girlfriend's friend, they go with that third proposal. And I have a very big problem with that. Number one, because that's not capitalism. And number two, because you're stealing $4 million from taxpayer funds that should be put into other things, like ensuring that our police officers have competitive salaries, that our firefighters don't need to leave to other counties because they don't have competitive pensions or competitive pays, to put together an initiative to clean up our streets, to put other things together, right? Like contributing to parks, things that the city actually needs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm proposing.
Yeah. And I love that about you, because growing up in Hialeah, that was one of the biggest problems. There wasn't no transparency ever. And these people just went around and they campaigned on so many things, like the parks and recs. We've gone away from the parks and recs. Parks and recs saved my life. If not, I would have been in the streets. And that's what we need in Hialeah. We need people like you to come in and really take the initiative and really make the city great like it really is. Because there's some great people in there, and we can be so progressive. You know, people don't have to go to Brickell or Coconut Grove or stuff, there could be a place in Hialeah where you could do so. You know,
Correct.
back in my day, there was this little banquet hall called Club Riviera,
Okay.
right behind my land there on 49th and Palm Avenue. You pay $5. It included one soda or water, whatever you wanted, and we'd be dancing from 8 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning when they closed out, and then all the kids go home. These kids don't have an outlet. Everything that they're doing nowadays is on the phone.
Ricky, I'll say this. One of the most important questions that the voters need to ask themselves is the people that are running, why are they running? Are they running because they've never made a $200,000 salary? Are they running because they owe other politicians political favors? Are they running because they want to scale politics? Because I assure you, as well as every single viewer, that none of those circumstances are my circumstances. When you mention, right, these sorts of experiences from your childhood, what I'm proposing is a financial / entertainment district. Why? Because there is a very dire need that the city of Hialeah is facing right now, and a huge problem. And that problem is that my generation, right, is leaving the city of Hialeah. They're going to Brickell, they're going to Miami Lakes, they're going to downtown, they're going to Pembroke Pines. Why? Because they want luxury living. Right? So they want amenities, they want a pool, they want a gym, and the city of Hialeah simply does not offer that right now to the multitude. So what I'm proposing, right, because I don't come here to talk about the problems of the city of Hialeah. I want to talk about the solutions, right? Because that solution-driven mindset is the mindset that's going to allow for us to win and actually bring about change, right?
Right.
So what we're proposing is an entertainment / financial district, right? Where in a specific sector of the city of Hialeah, we can raise the density, work on the infrastructure, and motivate developers to come in to develop and invest capital in the city of Hialeah, right? So if we can motivate developers, right, to come into that area and build mixed use buildings, right, where you can have residential up top and commercial on the bottom, to bring some of our favorite restaurants, to bring some of our franchise gyms, to bring experiences where individuals can come to the city of Hialeah and enjoy the city of Hialeah, and the residents not have to leave the city of Hialeah. That's going to solve many problems, one of which is the capital problem, right? The capital that leaves the city of Hialeah. One of which is the housing problem, right? Because the housing situation in the city of Hialeah has become very difficult. And it's also going to solve the generational problem of our generation wanting to leave, right? The way that we plan to do that is very simple. We're going to motivate developers by offering them tax abatements, okay? So we'll get into the nitty-gritty of this strategy. For every 100 units, right, that a developer were to propose, we're willing to offer them, right, a year of tax abatements. In doing so, they pay zero tax on those 100 units for 1 year. If you give me 4 units, 4 years of tax abatements. Now, there's 2 conditions. Condition number 1, you need to work on the infrastructure of that area so that we can bring the water in and the water out. And number 2, you need to give me 25% of those units as affordable housing so that we can handle the housing crisis in the city of Hialeah. That is going to ensure that the residents of the city of Hialeah don't have to leave. It's going to ensure that and motivate developers to come in and actually build. And at the end of those 4 years, do you know how much income we're going to have through those developments? It's going to be exponential. We just need to have the proper leadership in the position to put the people's interest first. That's the most important thing.
You're saying it, but I'm a person that's seen you actually take action against what you're talking about. So you've been putting your own money and your own investments and stuff behind the city as well. One of my biggest questions is, what made you decide to run now?
Well, what made me decide to run now is looking at all the problems that the city of Hialeah is faced with. The water, the sewer, the taxes on property, the infrastructure, the safety of our community, the trash. There's so many things that are going wrong in the city of Hialeah. And being a Hialeah native and being born and raised in the city of Hialeah, I humbly feel that I have a fiduciary responsibility to the city that created me to be the man that I am today. So I'm running because I'm looking at all the problems, and I know what it's like to start from nothing and create something. I know what it's like to have to operate from a bootstrap scenario. I know what it's like to have to count your dollars, right? The very opposite of what's happening right now, right? My question for the department heads and for the existing administration, if it were your $575 million, would you spend it exactly the same? And if you wouldn't, I have a problem with that. Because as public servants, we need to ensure that we put the benefit of the residents of the city of Hialeah before everything and anything, and that's not happening. You have the second, and I repeat this, and I want to make a great emphasis on this, the second largest economy in Miami-Dade County.
Absolutely.
And it's not perceived that way because the leadership is lacking. That's why I'm running. It's because I have the necessary skills, traits, and abilities to solve the issues for the city of Hialeah. So the same way that the residents of the city of Hialeah are having to watch how they spend every single dollar, now it's the turn of the government of the city of Hialeah to do the same, to ensure that we can allocate the funds in a very responsible and transparent way where the funds are being put into projects and into places and into developments that are directly going to correlate to the quality of lives of the residents of the city of Hialeah. That's why.
I think it's wonderful, man. And going back to a point that you were making earlier about them working with their cousins and their sisters and their stuff. I have a couple people in the city, and I was trying to get my art going to help out special needs kids. And I couldn't get a sit down with any of these guys because, one, I have nothing to offer them as kickbacks, but I am going to help out the citizens in their city. So that alone changed my theory on why am I helping these people that don't want my help, and they're denying the help for the poor children in the city that I grew up in. So I love the fact that you're brand new into this and you really care about the citizens. You're really putting the citizens on your back. You're not worried about who's going to give me a kickback or who's going to help me or who's going to open my door. You're speaking on stuff that others are scared to speak on because you really care about the city. And that, I got to applaud you for that.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, when it comes to that, like, the fact that individuals turned you down on such a beautiful project because you weren't able to offer them a kickback is the exact thing that under my leadership we will have a zero tolerance for. Simple as that. Yeah. Because I want to be extremely clear. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not running for mayor because I need money. I'm running for mayor because I know the issues that lie inside of the city, and I have the ability to solve them. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing for me, Ricky, is ensuring that the American dream is alive and accessible in the city of Hialeah so that younger generations have access to the same opportunities that I had being born and raised in Hialeah.
There's a recent interview where you're discussing vision, priorities, and future of leadership. If I could ask you one thing about the interview, I will have to say, in your sit down with Grant Miller, you laid out your vision. What has elevated since then?
All right. So first, I would like to say that leadership is not a position. Leadership is a carefully acquired set of skills that you use and implement to create other leaders. Okay. What has changed since my last interview with Grant Miller, which he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's an
Miami
awesome guy.
Community News, shout out to them. They're incredible human beings.
Yeah, they're good friends of mine.
Very, very awesome.
Tico's a great guy too. He's a good friend of mine.
Awesome. Right now, and I don't think I've said this publicly yet, but one point of vision that I have for the city of Hialeah is to make Hialeah the most prosperous city in Miami-Dade County. It was a very long time ago.
It was.
In the 50s.
Yep.
Okay.
50s.
In the 50s.
Even the 60s, early 60s.
Correct. Through the mayor sitting at the time, okay,
Yeah.
which was Mylander. I want to revitalize the city of Hialeah in such a way where it will be the #1 economy in Miami-Dade County. That is the vision. The mission is to do that by keeping more money in the pockets of the residents of the city of Hialeah. Why? Because when you keep more money in the pockets of the residents of the city of Hialeah and your small businesses are booming, what ends up happening is a synchronistic event, right, of a prosperous, essentially, economy, a prosperous economy into the future. We need less government intervention and more freedom, right? Another thing that we're proposing that no one else has the courage to discuss is a department whose primary focus is collaborative relationships between the public sector and the private sector. Why? Because small businesses are the backbone of the economy. Right now, there's over 648 small businesses that haven't been able to open in the city of Hialeah because of their bureaucracy, right? So think about the owner, right, that's investing and risking their capital to open a small business in the city of Hialeah, and the city of Hialeah, instead of opening their arms,
doors.
right, and opening their doors, they make it extremely difficult. They take 24, 36, 18 months to open their business. That is absolutely unfathomable. The government needs to be a facilitator. The government needs to be the one that says, hey, what do you need and how can I help you? Not, hey, this is wrong and this is wrong and you need to pay this and you need to. No, that's not how it works. Because what that does is it holds back the economy. And we're at a point in time where we don't need the government holding the economy back. We need the government pushing the economy forward through collaborative relationships, through more freedom, through proper leadership, and ensuring that we are creating a society that promotes growth instead of stunning it.
Well, I have to agree with that 100% because me being a past business owner myself, I had a lot of problems with like the city chamber of commerce. They wouldn't help out my type of business. I had a tattoo shop. I've always been an artist, so they didn't like that kind of business and they didn't want it in Hialeah, so they made it real difficult for us for many years. Now it's more thought of and it's different, but back then I had a lot of problems. But I was putting Hialeah on the map. I was in the Miami Herald. I was in TV 44. I was in America TV. I was at Univision, Telemundo. I was Maria Vida Confronta.
That Hialeah hustle,
Yeah,
man, I'm telling you.
I was still making myself marketable.
Amen, brother.
through other outlets because they were shutting my doors. I didn't let them hold me back. But like you said, there's a million businesses taking 18 months to 24 months to even open their doors. And that's uncalled for, being that you can bankrupt a business in 5 months if they're not set up for it. You know, so what are we trying to do? Are we trying to help out the business people, or are we trying to steer them away because you don't like that type of business or you don't think it goes good? But in your eyes, you're bringing back difference. You know, you're allowing these businesses to operate, and that's applaudable as well.
Thank you, brother.
It's
No,
great.
what ends up happening is they say, oh, no, listen, I know a guy that'll take care of you, but you need to take care of him.
Yep.
My brother, that's not capitalism. Okay, that's not capitalism. So what we're proposing is for every small business that starts, we're gonna have personnel, right, that can walk that business owner, that entrepreneur from A to Z on how to open their business as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Because the art of business is bringing money in, right? Not dealing with bureaucracy and permits and all sort of unnecessary paperwork. That's not business. That's the opposite of business.
Absolutely.
So we want to promote business. We want to promote small businesses. We want to make sure that the city of Hialeah, okay, is the capital for flourishing small businesses. In fact, Ricky G, I'm sure you know this, maybe you don't. All of national franchises, okay, that are open in the city of Hialeah do the best numbers on a national level, okay?
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A,
Chick-fil-A,
Taco Bell, McDonald's, T-Mobile, AT&T, Cricket Wireless, even the Ford dealership on 49th Street, okay? We have a very unique and very special city that we need to take care of. And we need to take care of with the proper leadership to continue to flourish. So that's my vision, the number one economy in Miami-Dade County.
I got to agree with you on that as well, because a lot of businesses have gone away from Hialeah, and they've opened elsewhere and prospered elsewhere, and is making other cities. Me, myself, I took my arts program and stuff to Doral, and I've done amazing work. I was recognized by the mayor not too long ago. They brought me in for an award and everything. It's just, that could have been Hialeah. I could have done a lot of stuff.
And it will be once I get there. Believe me, brother.
Oh, you will get there. You will get there. I
Amen.
believe the people are tired of, being run to the ground. I remember there was a place that I used to look forward to every year. It was called the Hialeah Spring Festival.
Okay.
And it used to be held in where the casino is now. They used to come and bring out a fair, almost like the Dade County Youth Fair. And then they used to bring out a tent. Telemundo and Univision used to work together, and they used to bring out singers, famous singers and stuff. And Celia Cruz performed there, Willie Chirino, Miami Sound Machine, you name it. Back from the early 90s, I'm talking about maybe 91 on to the 80s. It was one of the biggest places. It was like the Dade County Youth Fair, but in the city of Hialeah. We didn't have to go to Miami-Dade County to go to the youth fair. We had that in our own thing. We used to have a skating ring. Well, we had several of them, but the biggest one was where Matter Academy is right now, and it used to be called Super Roller Rink. And next to it, where that hotel is, that used to be a water park way back in the day. And it was amazing. It was like Six Flags Atlantis. I mean, I know things grow and change, but there's no reason to, if it ain't broken, you don't have to fix it. So if there's festivals and stuff like that the city themselves, like Calle Ocho, at first it used to be bad news, but lately it's cleaned up a lot, and it's really good times that these people, locals from the area, get to enjoy. I would like to see that again in Hialeah. Not so big as a Calle Ocho, but something nice for the citizens to enjoy.
Of course, to enjoy and to spend time together.
With their families.
And to bring their families together to create new memories. That's what we need.
Yes.
And that stems from the proper leadership, Ricky. It stems from
Absolutely.
the proper leadership and someone that's going to do right by the people. Because at the end of the day, I am for the people, by the people. Simple as that.
Correct.
Simple as that.
Well, I'm glad to have you on my show, man. It's
Thank
been
you.
an honor speaking to you on and off the camera.
Thank you.
You're a hell of a person. I just want to say, man, good luck, and I know you got this.
Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate it. To the people watching, I would say I am the voice of the city of Hialeah, because the city of Hialeah deserves the best. The best or nothing. We are tired, okay? We are tired of the corruption. We're tired of the misadministration. I want to represent, and I'll close out with this point. The city of Hialeah has over 90,000 residents that are registered to vote. And my team and I are expecting between 17,000 to 20,000 people, okay, to come out and vote in this election. I want to represent that additional 70,000 people that feel disenfranchised. That's additional 70,000 people that feel lied to by politicians. That additional 70,000 people that don't connect with any of the individuals that are running. I want to be their voice, and I want to be their mayor, and I want to be the person that stands up for them to keep more money in their pockets.
Amen.
Just like that, my brother. So thank
Let's
you for the
go.
opportunity.
Well, y'all heard it. The man himself, Marc Anthony Salvat, I want you to go November 4th and start punching his ticket, because you need change. We need change. Let's make Hialeah great again.